In this video, I'm going to be talking about Degen. I'm going to share with you what chart patterns I see for this cryptocurrency right now. I'm also going to be sharing where I think this crypto could be headed in this bull cycle. And this is also an update to a video I did just about a month ago on the same crypto. So let's jump right in. And don't forget, if you like this type of content and it's helpful, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more. So as I mentioned, about a month ago, I did a video on Degen. That was the first time I had done an analysis on Degen, that cryptocurrency. I broke down one of the main patterns that I saw developing on the chart, which is the cup and handle pattern. And where we were in the cup and handle pattern, we were expecting to see price make a pullback after hitting resistance. Let me just show you what a textbook version of this looks like. So we have price coming up to a level of resistance. Then it starts to make these series of lower lows and lower highs. And it makes this downtrend, but then it starts to turn around about halfway through and makes this big U-turn and creates kind of this rounding pattern right back up to that level of resistance. This is called the cup and handle pattern. And then once price gets back to that level of resistance, we see it make a short pullback before it explodes to the upside. And so the last time I did a video on Degen, it looked like we were right there at that second point of resistance where price had made the series of lower lows and lower highs, made a U-turn, and then met up again with that level of resistance. And we had not quite seen yet that pullback right before it starts to explode. And so I explained in that video, I'm not buying in quite yet. In fact, I'm waiting for price to pull back. And then I'm looking for a bullish reversal pattern, candlestick pattern, before I really start to buy in. And what's interesting is right now, over the past month or so, since I last created that video, we have had a pullback. We've had a pullback from, let's see, this was a little over 3 cents. This was over 3 cents, pulling back to just above 1 penny. So still, I mean, even though that looks like a small move, I mean, from this high all the way down, that's a 62% decline. I mean, if you bought right here, I mean, that's 62% decline. So again, I'm looking at this on the daily time frame on a logarithmic chart. So it looks like a small move, but in fact, I mean, it is kind of a deep correction. So that's important to take note of. But as I mentioned in that last video, was waiting for this. This was what I was anticipating. And there's some confluence that's developing as well with this pullback happening around this area of what was resistance and now could be acting as support. We could see price come back down here to this level of support, which was this ascending triangle. I also broke down that pattern as well, where price finds a level of resistance and then makes a series of higher lows until it gets towards the apex of that triangle, and then it breaks out. Sometimes oftentimes price will break out and then retest this level of support before it goes higher. So we could see that happening as well. And both of those patterns, the cup and handle pattern and this ascending triangle pattern, could be basically supporting each other on the larger time frame. One other thing that I am noticing now too is I'm an Elliott wave trader. And if you don't know what Elliott wave is, I definitely recommend you check it out and kind of see how that type of technical analysis works. For my brain and how my brain works, it's really helped me to see some of the different patterns and ways that the market moves. The market does not move all in one direction, all at the same time. It moves in waves, and there's patterns that show up all the time that you can take advantage of and make trades and investment decisions based on those. Doesn't work 100% of the time, as no trading strategy does, but you're able to increase your probability. So one of the ways I like to break down these charts is with Elliott wave, and inside of Elliott wave, there is the Fibonacci retracement element of it. And so also recommend understanding what Fibonacci is and Fibonacci retracements, but not to go too deep into Elliott wave in this video, but I do want to point out where we could potentially be seeing price make a reversal. And it's actually right here where we're at right now. So that's what I'm waiting for, just kind of as a teaser, and I'll get into more of where I think price could be headed here in a little bit. But I do think that it is very near that we're going to see price start to go back up for Degen. And here's one of the reasons why. So in this pattern right here, this is a 5-wave structure right here. From this low that was in September up to this high in October. And then what I count is a running flat. Now I do have an example of that. This is an Elliott wave concept, an Elliott wave corrective wave pattern, where we have 3 waves, an A, B, and then a C. C doesn't make quite, it makes a higher low, and then it continues on to the next wave. And again, not to go too deep into Elliott wave, I got some other videos on the channel that can help explain that. But I see an A. Let me just go ahead and count this using the tools here. So we've got A, B, and then C is what I'm counting. And then it starts the next wave, which is a 5-wave structure. And I would count that as, let's see. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one of the common Fibonacci retracement levels is the 0.618. And so I just want to show you, if we were to start our Fibonacci right there, let me give myself a little bit more space right there. So we've got the swing low down here at the start of this next wave, and we go up to the top of this wave. Then we see that the Fibonacci 0.618 level, that is the golden ratio. And if you're not as familiar with Fibonacci, it's a way to measure the retracement of any pullback. And at these different levels, they're kind of like magnets. Price doesn't always retrace back to these levels, but you will find that many times price does react and retrace back to some of these levels that are labeled here. And one of the most common is the 0.618. And obviously we see price coming back, sitting right there. We've got the start of this next daily candle happening right now. And I am very curious to see what happens with this candle, basically around this level. It could take a couple of days, but I do think this is a very interesting level for price to make a reversal. Now, there's no guarantee. It could go a little bit deeper. It could go to a lower level, the 7.86 level. It can go even further down to the 0.889 level as well. But again, we're just looking to find what the chart is doing, what price is doing, and build a hypothesis that way, and kind of stack these different elements to increase the probability of us making a trade. So that's a little bit on the smaller scale. But then again, if we talk about the overall pattern that we're seeing, which there's 2 of them kind of developing, a smaller one and then a larger one. The smaller one was the ascending triangle pattern, and that's kind of already played itself out. So we, as I mentioned before, price has a resistance level, and then the lows are making higher lows until it gets to the apex of the triangle. And then the measurement between the widest part of that triangle ends up being the profit target. And we definitely hit that. So if we were looking at this section here, let me grab the right tool, the price range tool. If we're looking for the bottom here of that triangle up to here, the top of that resistance, we would then take that, copy that, set it on top of the triangle, and that would be the new price target. And so we definitely hit that. We almost hit that with the one candle that really broke out. And we are now seeing this reach back into that territory that we previously had, this level of resistance. In fact, we had a few wicks above it, but that is creating that second area of resistance or the second point on that area of resistance before we see the pullback. And this is the larger pattern that I see developing and the one that still has some way to go. So I do think with this current price action on the chart, I'm seeing this cup and handle pattern right here and this pullback. And I think it's pulling back to a very, very interesting level. And so with that being the case, there's a way that we can measure, and I talked about this in my other video, but you can measure where price could eventually go to by taking the top and then the bottom, the measurement from the top of the resistance. I call that the lid, all the way down to the bottom of the cup, this rounded area. Take that measurement, copy it, paste it on top, and then that would be the new price target. And if you look at the chart, I actually have that already here. And so it's a deep, cup right there. And so if you place it on top, I do think at some point we'll hit this target, which is basically just under 25 cents per coin. It's about 22, 23 per coin. And even from right now, I mean, we're sitting at a little above a penny. We're talking about, that doing a 17 to 18x from where we're at right now. And I know that may to some people seem like a big target, to some it may not, but we've seen this happen time and time again through crypto. I mean, even from its low, even before it's made this run, so down here in September up to this high was already a 12 to 13x that it did in just a few months. And so if you ask me and several other people who are creating content in the crypto space, we believe, a large majority of folks believe, that we're in 2025 is going to be where we see the next peak for the crypto market. And so there's plenty of time for that to take place, even in the end of 2024, but definitely into 2025. There is a lot of room for this to go. But obviously none of this is guaranteed. And it goes without saying, but none of what I'm saying is financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes and educational purposes. But again, make sure you do your own research, your own analysis when making these types of investment decisions. The one thing I'll leave you with is that I am looking at a potential that a different look for this pattern. And instead of this kind of being the cup part right here, I'm also considering that it could be a little wider, and this recent pullback that we had could actually be a part of the cup. Now, I don't necessarily think that's the case, but again, with trading, it's at least the way I look at it in analysis and analyzing the charts. I try to be as objective as possible and try to find as many different potential patterns or ways that the market can go, because any one that you come up with, it may not go that way. And so if you're able to identify some of the other alternatives, then it does give you kind of a contingency plan, and you can see, okay, if it does this, then I'll do that. Or if it does this over here, then I'll do something different. So I ultimately think we've got this cup and handle pattern with the handle that is very close to being done. I do think we'll have a explosion to the upside within the coming weeks. We just need to see a bullish type of pattern form, some type of indication that this is ready to go to the upside. One thing that's also working in our favor is that volume is declining. It declined in this move down. That shows that there's not a lot of active sellers pushing the price down. It's mainly just a slowdown of this momentum of this upper move. And so there's not a ton of people looking to really sell right here. So when it gets to a point where people are looking to enter in, we should see volume spike up again, and that's also when price will go up as well. So overall, I'm very bullish right now on Degen. The last video I made, I wasn't quite ready to get in, but now I'm looking to enter. I'm looking for this kind of final pattern right here, and I'm looking to see when it's going to start to make a move to the upside, maybe even just breaking above this level at roughly a penny and a half. So that's kind of where I'm looking, and then I will not be selling until we get well over 20 cents. So if you want to see more content like this, as I mentioned before, hit the subscribe button. If you found this video helpful, or if you learned something new, hit the thumbs up. This will show it to more people who are looking for this type of content. Thanks so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.